The second session of the day, I'm going to start this session by giving you a short demo of and then we have one more talk, and then I'll get back to explain how we're going to do the poster session and the lunch. So let's without waiting any longer, let me start with a demo. I'd like to present our work on what we call seamless automatic speech recognition. It's multilingual and multi-speaker end-to-end ASR. This is a joint work, especially with Takaaki Hori, was really the leader of that project. Brett Harshen, Nico Morris go on mission at MERL, and John Hershey, Shinji Watanabe, formerly MERL, now Google and JHU, and also Hiroshi Seki, a former intern, and actually many others who influenced this work. Okay, is this working? All right. So what are we trying to do? Yes, we want to build a system that can recognize multilingual, multi-speaker speech. So you may have several people speaking different languages with just one microphone going through some box, and then you get their transcription of their speech. What you could do, but we do not want to do, is build a complicated pipeline. You could do some fancy speech separation, then each of the separate signals could go through some language identification, and then depending on the identified language, you would pipe it to like some conventional ASR that is just for that language. And then you would need to design each of these different ASR and each of its components using a lot of expert knowledge, and that would take a lot of time and a lot of money. What happens if you change language in the middle, like if there are two different languages, then how do you do language ID? So there's all sorts of difficulties, and we want to just solve it just at once. All right, so we just use a single deep neural network, of course, and no need for expert knowledge. And we really try to exploit the end-to-end, direct optimization of end-to-end from the signal, like of multiple speakers, the signal directly to the text transcription. How do we do this? Our workhorse at MERL for end-to-end ASR is the hybrid CTC attention model that we developed, and basically we're going to extend it to do first multilingual end-to-end recognition, and then multi-speaker and multilingual end-to-end recognition. So how do we do that? Very simple. We feed it with utterances with code switching. So we get an English utterance, a Japanese utterance, concatenate them, feed them to recognizer, and we allow the recognizers to we just expand the character set at the output, and we ask the recognizer to identify the language and transcribe in that language. But there's no really any constraint between the language ID and the characters that it can choose. It just learns to, and it doesn't really have to output the language ID. It's just a convenience for us because it tells us what it is. All right, so I'm going to give a demo first of this, all right, because that's what you're here for. Let's see. All right, so so imagine you're in an airport. You do not know the language of the country, and you want to speak in your own language and be guided in that language. And you can ask many questions. So you're in the center of a terminal at the departures level, and I'm going to ask for something, let's say, in French. So I press the button, and I say, j'aimerais prendre une douche. I would like to take a shower. And it guides me to the showers, to the douche, in French. That's one example. I can also say, I would like to go to the bookstore. And it takes me to the bookstore in English. Or I could say multiple languages, and hopefully it's going to work. So what should I say? Ramen ga tabetai na. I would like to go to the toy store. J'aimerais aller à un restaurant français. So let's see. That's going to work. Oh, it only got two of them. So it actually recognized that I wanted to go to a French restaurant, but in German, so it didn't really, and I don't have a German interface, so anyway. But let's try again. Maybe for the interest of time, just imagine that it actually works. But it does work. For the interest of time, because I have more fun stuff to show. All right. And it also works in Chinese, by the way, so bear with me. Let's just try, just for the sake of it. 我要休息一下. No, damn it. All right. One last time. 我要休息一下. Come on. I guess my pronunciation is not good enough. But so if you want to try, you can talk to me, and we can try again. All right. So now I'm going to switch back to the presentation, which is here, I guess. Yes. So when we said, okay, I don't need this actually to talk, but so instead of doing multilingual, we're going to do multispeaker. So we can either separate the signal and then feed them each the separate signal to this multilingual system, or we can do everything together. So in the first version, we used our deep clustering chimera network thing to separate the signal and then recognize each of them and train everything together end to end. Or you can just say, I'm not going to actually explicitly separate the signal. I'm just going to have an encoder within the ASR network. I'm going to implicitly separate the speaker by having separate encoders for in the middle of the network, and then use the same for the rest of the pipeline and train that. And it turns out that both methods lead to about the same performance. And this is very convenient because it's a much more streamlined pipeline. So then, of course, we can put this was first done for English only, and then we just easily extend it to multilingual, multispeaker, and that's what I'm going to try to present. I was on TV in Japan. That's great. All right. So, So I need a volunteer to speak with me in a Japanese, Chinese native, please, a Mandarin native, or French. I could do French. Or, what did I say? English, Japanese, English, I guess, and French. So, or Chinese. Anybody wants to try? Wants to be guided in an airport? You want Japanese? Okay, so you should think about what you want to say, because it could be, I mean, on the spot itself. So what do you want to say? Okay, so I should say, what should I say? Okay, let's try that. I would like to go to a French restaurant. No, it didn't get the ramen. So let's try again. I think you didn't speak loud enough. All right. I would like to go to a French restaurant. Okay. All right. All right, and that's it from me. Thank you very much. And now we're going to switch back to the talks. And let me just briefly, I guess I will get back later for regarding the poster session, because I think we need to talk.